Ladies and gentlemen of the TFW podcast, faithful listeners of That's Freakin' Wrestling. You know, there's a saying, the same things that make you laugh will make you cry. There's a saying, all good things come to an end. It's also a saying, careful what you wish for, you just might get it. All of those sayings is what is happening right now to 3/4 of this esteemed panel we have in front of us right now. Ishan, you, sir, have been coming on this platform for almost 2 years now, year and a half, talking about Cody Rhodes, talking about daddies, talking about finishing stories. And at this point, it's done. Floor is yours. What would you like to say?
Well, first of all, I want to welcome everyone to our live show, our podcast. That's Freakin' Wrestling tonight, family. That was Freakin' Wrestling. We just witnessed the greatest WrestleMania main event of all time. I believe Rhodesia mentioned it. She said, this is going to be one of the best WrestleMania main event matches of all time. And she's absolutely right. We got a great match. We finally got a great finish. We finally finished the story. And what a story was it? What a finish it was. And first of all, I want to say props to Roman Reigns. What a great title run that he had. And I want to thank him for getting in the great and best shape he could to lay down for Cody Rhodes tonight and put him over, because he wanted to make sure the world saw him in his best physical condition. And wow, he did that. So thank you to him. Thank you all the fans around the world who saw this great finish. We did it, y'all. We did it for the daddies all around the world. We finished that story. New champion, new era. What a great night it was, y'all. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. Hey, listen, I share no hate in my heart for the amount of trolling that my 3 so-called friends have put me through for years, right? Because see, this is what I'm talking about. This shit means something to me, man. And my friends knew this, and they took it upon themselves to troll me every chance they get, in private, in public, throughout the show. So listen, it's all love, because tonight that's what it's about. It's about fellowship. It's about family, and we saw that tonight. So what a wonderful evening it was. Thank you, guys.
All right. Are you good? You done? I just wanted to lay out and make sure that you felt good with saying your piece, because I damn sure said my piece last year after night 2 when I came on and gave a 8-minute promo about I told you so and hit 35,000 gunshots. I just wanted to make sure that you got your moment. Is your moment? Are you good? Are you good? We good to move on? Are you finished or are you done? I guess he's done. I guess he's done. Well, as Ishan said, thank you and welcome to the TFW podcast live post show. Night 2, WrestleMania Sunday. I'm your host, Matt, joined by aforementioned Ishan. We have the hugger Rhodesia in the house, bringing it back old school, like 2015 NXT, Bailey. We got, let me tell you how quick people change up. If you are watching live on Twitter, check YouTube. I'm not sure if we're on YouTube. I don't see it. But yesterday, we did the live post show. We jump on here. The other guy on the podcast, he changed his name to Fuck Your Story. Jump on here today. He changed his name to What a Great Story. Brandon, you are one of those type of fair weather fans that we don't like around these parts. We got issues with.
This is a tip of cat to my man. Tip of a cap to my man E. I'm just showing a little respect. It's still Roman Reigns. It's still Tribal Chief.
We can't even say it without like breaking down and breaking up.
That is true.
And
I just want to show love.
We shouldn't. This man has single-handedly, along with Triple H, when Triple H took the book over 16 months or so ago, changed the course of WWE. The Bloodline story, the wise man, the tribal chief, the head of the table. He's the one that made wrestling cool again. I know Rock's saying that now, and yes, he's bringing a whole nother set of eyeballs to the product, but that was Roman Reigns. Shout out to Roman Reigns. Shout out to Cody Rhodes. Let's get into it. I really want to talk what we saw. And really what I want to discuss is, damn, that was incredible. That was incredible. A month or so, actually over a month or so ago now. Anybody who listens to the pod, if you follow our Twitter, you've seen it on X. That's FNW. You've seen it on YouTube. I can't say I was for sure the first person. I know for a fact I hadn't seen anybody else talk about an Avengers type finish, right? But just talking through on that one episode, I'm like, that would make the most sense. And what I loved so much about what we got tonight, I would have to, of course, digest it and think about the manias we've had before this and the matches we've had. But what I can say without a doubt, there's never been a match that made you feel as much as that main event did tonight. Happy, sad, whatever it was. I think that is 100% accurate for me. How about you guys?
I definitely have to sleep on this. I just had to really wipe my tears. That's the reason why it took so long for us to come on air. Had to wipe my tears from what I just watched. But when I say that wrestling is everything, let me tell you, when Cody first came out and we were at this big fight feel, his entrance, the bloody flag, looked like he just went to war, all the subliminals they're showing, all the way to Roman and his orchestra, the only way you can imagine how he should come out. It is big feel. Like
that's when you knew it was over.
Well, that's kind of when I knew it was over. But yeah. But I said no. I knew it was over last night when Cody didn't pin the Rock. But I have never felt this way before in a wrestling match, like ever. And when you think about it, like I was in love with John Cena. I was in love with The Rock. So Cena Rock 1, even Cena Rock 2. I still didn't have these emotions like I felt today. Like when we saw Cody win it and everybody gets in the ring, bravo to that guy. But I will have to tell you, I would not feel this way today. And nobody else, no other Cody fans will feel this way today, seeing that if last year this time didn't happen. That is just an absolute fact. I would love anybody to challenge me and say that we would have the same emotions about Cody Rhodes winning the title, for good or for bad, if he won it last year. But I don't want to take away from him. What a beautiful story that we were part of right before the final sequences. And you can feel that it was about time. All the big people had already came out. I still thought Austin was going to come out for a hot second. He teased it a little bit. But when he didn't, and the Fatu brother didn't come out, I'm like, okay, I feel like this is the end of the match. I'm like, I don't want this night to end. I think I even told you, man, I don't even want this night to end. We've been here. We've enjoyed this ride for so long. But this is now the Paul Levesque era. So let's see what we got.
I was thrilled. I think it was a good match overall. It had a really big fight feel. I don't know if I've ever watched a WWE main event feel like a big prize fight. Like the crowd was lit. They played to the crowd extremely well. they worked. Like, that match was way better than last year. They worked. Roman looked really, really good. I don't know, in my short time of watching him, I don't know if I've seen him look better than he did tonight. And Cody might even elevated his game. They just looked really good. That match was a really good match. Like you, Rhodesia, I thought Austin was coming out after The Rock. I didn't expect the Taker to show up. That's not who I was expecting, but it was great. I mean, we got sort of the chaos that we was looking for. When Jimmy and Jay came out, I was like, all right, take us home. It's getting ready to go. So I thought it was great. I was thrilled with, I guess, the way it played out. I mean, in my heart of hearts, I wanted Roman to win, of course, but I think we all knew it was Cody's time. What I had never seen is the spectacle after he won. I've never seen a locker room come out for a guy.
Era. Definitely not
like,
WWE TV.
It's a new era. That stamped that this is completely different than anything we've done before. We are now leading the charge to this next thing. And both of you hit on a few things. I do want to hit, so let's kind of back up really quick. I absolutely saw Undertaker coming. When I mentioned the Avengers style finish, and I said anybody that's ever had an issue with the bloodline, they come out to help. Who came out after beating Undertaker at WrestleMania and said, "This is my yard now," the next night on Raw?
The big dog, Roman Reigns. The ones up.
Roman Reigns. Made perfect sense. Yeah, we would have loved to hear the glass shatter. I did think we would get Austin. That didn't take away from me at all, because what they did made perfect sense. Cena coming out to get his get back from Solo, when Solo completely destroyed him in Saudi a few months ago, and we had heard nothing after that since. Jimmy and Jay made perfect sense. So everything they did was perfect to the story. Even the callbacks to last year's matches. You talked about last year's match. I thought last year's match was great. This match was excellent, and that was after they worked 45 minutes last night.
Right.
And the biggest one for
me,
it
was a different feel. It was a different feel.
I'm all about story. All about story. Y'all know that. Yes, we got to do moves. That's part of it. But it's about
doing each other's moves.
It's feeling it. When Seth came out in the Shield gear, and I talked on the pod about a month ago, and we had a spirited conversation, because E is like, why in the world would you want another Roman and Seth match? We're past that, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, because one, Seth still had a victory over Roman. And two, the reason why Roman Reigns is the way he is because of when Seth Rollins turned on him. Mm-hmm. He was betrayed. And after that, anybody that Roman has ever trusted has betrayed him. Roman has never betrayed anyone. What happens? Dead to rights. He has a chair in his hand. And either I can hit Cody and win this match, or I can get Seth and get my get back. And what did he do?
He got
went
to
to Seth. Incredible storytelling. The hate in his heart, the betrayal, the hurt in his heart felt more for him to get back to that than it was for me to keep my championship. You can't write that any better. At all. I thought it was incredible. Of course, you know, we y'all know already. Majority of us are big time Roman Reigns fans. E loves Roman Reigns. We all love Cody Rhodes. We play the thing, of course, all the time on the podcast. It's still ones to the sky, right? Forever. That's just what it is. It is still bloodline. It is still all that. But you got to feel good for Cody to see Michael Cole get choked up and crying on air.
Even Samantha, when Samantha was trying to win the announce the winner, even she was getting choked up.
Because it makes you feel something, right? It made you feel something. Triple H, they said it all week. There's going to be a new era, and we got it tonight. Last night, it didn't really feel like a new era. Like, last night felt WrestleMania worthy, for sure. Tonight, do they have any misses? To y'all, in y'all opinions, for what we got, for what each match was supposed
Styles
to do.
And LA Knight, even they freaking went, which I thought they was going to go anyways, but I was actually pleasantly surprised on my excitement for that match too. So to your point, they ding, 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 ding on all of them.
Yeah. Opening to closing. Stellar.
Anything that you saw? Because we had a couple matches that we kind of didn't care about, right? AJ and LA Knight were like, we know it's going to be a good match. Take it or leave it. Philadelphia Street Fight, I was higher on than I think maybe kind of the majority was. Even that was a car crash. That did what it needed to do. Was there anything on the card that didn't deliver, or you felt like top to bottom, it was fantastic?
I was here for one moment. So everything leading to it was just icing on the cake for me. They could have put Doink the Clown out there with one of the Bushwhackers, man. I would have been happy.
That would have been lit.
I would have been. It didn't matter who they put out there for me. I was here for every minute of it. I was not looking to be dissatisfied with anything on that night. Great night overall for me.
The other thing that I really felt too was for this to have been a pivot. So we got the tag match in night one. When we got the big time Cody entrance, we got the big time Roman Reigns entrance. It ain't too many times where you got damn near anybody we see on camera stand up throughout the entire match, the main event.
Mm-hmm.
When they finally locked up, it felt like we hadn't seen them wrestle since last year.
Mm-hmm.
That takes a special kind of story and a special talent to be able to pull that off. We just saw y'all 24 hours ago. And I was out here last night saying, I'm going to be interested to see how this match goes because y'all gave us a match. We got the false finishes. We got the finishers. We got the special moves. We got the close. We got everything last night. And they were able to still exceed that without having the Rock in the match. That's bravo.
When you were talking, I was kind of talking on top of you. Pause. But I was talking. Sorry, I had a couple beers, so I was talking on top of you.
No shit.
But
because that wasn't a pause-worthy comment.
No, because that was me trying to calm down because I was about to start blushing.
One of the guys said that, but not you.
Anyway,
You've never said pause before. Typically, you say go or you say faster or you'll you'll do that kind of thing. But
we are here.
Hell, we're here. Like he said, he got what he got, so we might as well get to the. That's the only
point is. Okay, listen. What I'm trying to say is that last night you would have never thought, for instance, for tonight that we saw them fight the night before. You just didn't feel that. It didn't feel that way at all. And my biggest thought was that we was going to have chaos from beginning to end. The moment that we first saw Jimmy and Jay, there was going to be chaos from the beginning to end. We've been already down that road about Jimmy and Jay. But then even in this match, they gave me something that I wasn't expecting. It was a surprise, and it was something that was great. They wrestled for like 10 minutes, just solo, just one-on-one. And they gave me kind of, I guess, what I wanted maybe deep down inside because I wanted to see how they went back and forth with each other. Then all the shenanigans came out after that. But like you said, as far as that whole pomp and circumstances for both of them coming out, I would not have thought that, wow, they just fought 24 hours ago. It felt completely different. We did.
Brandy was there.
Yeah.
That's when I knew it was over.
Yeah, like why you got to bring out the Black Queen?
I was like, she's here.
You brought the Queen out. Damn it.
I can tolerate a Cody run if she gonna show up more often.
She's not. Now she gonna treat y'all like Roman Reigns treated y'all. She gonna show up once every 6 months, and that's it. I'm praying for Cody's downfall. I hope Gunther knocks him out tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. 30-day reign. We get this thing going. What you think about that, E?
He's so live right now. He's the absolute opposite of what I thought he would be. I would be on here talking so much shit. I would have completely polarized our entire audience. They would either been like, hell yeah, she's one's up. But if Roman would have won, I think I would have taken control of this whole Riverside thing and I would have kicked y'all all out and I would have just had a whole pie by myself.
We can do
Humble
that.
Humble king.
We can do that if you would like to do that.
Instead, I was crying. Like right before we started, I had to wipe my tears off my eyes, put some makeup on.
So we get the incredible match. We get the faces of the faces, which I didn't know LA Knight and Cody were close.
Yeah,
but he was out there.
But could it have been because he was also part of the bad end of the bloodline? That's how I took it.
That's what I was thinking too.
Okay,
yeah, that's how I took it.
I was thinking that too.
In that ring, those were like the heavy hitters.
Yeah, and they were showing him a lot of love.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, that's a big spot for him. Him calling out Triple H and Bruce Pritchard, I thought was a really nice touch.
It's definitely AEW right there.
I talked about Triple H dropping his nuts on the table last night.
Stephanie dropped her nuts.
Her nuts, her titties, her nips, her titties.
Either her nips or her clit.
But JJ.
She dropped something. And I was like, damn, Stephanie, if only you didn't come out and tried to get everybody to do a thank you, Vince, after he retired, knowing what kind of nasty man he was, we could really get behind you. And from everybody that has worked with Stephanie, they love her. They absolutely love her.
Yep.
But I was like, nah, but she dropped her, whatever you want to call it, too, today. And I was like, that's what I'm talking about. So new era, absolutely. Where do we go now from here for you guys as fans? So Roman lost. I shared a video from Mania afterwards where Heyman and Roman hugging on the stage.
That's where I started crying. Yep.
And now we got Cody, who is taking them onto the next era. From a Cody perspective and from a Roman perspective, what would you guys like to see pretty immediately?
Immediately, I want to see somebody really good challenge Cody. I mean, I don't know who the next up is. Like, he's obviously over feuding with people like Shinsuke. I mean, he's not in the whole. He's.
Sorry, that might have been wrong. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a cadence that I was trying to say. While I could talk in my mom's tongue.
You should have paused that. Is what you should have did.
No.
You muted. You know what? You muted up yesterday. Mute up again. Just mute up for 60 seconds.
No, I was doing my promo.
We'll go to Brandon and we'll go to
Basiah.
And he's just be like,
I was cutting my promo on Basiah. That's all I'm
saying.
saying.
We'll throw it to you. You never want to represent your Filipino side, but all of a sudden now, because you may have said something that got you canceled with the Asian community, now you want to represent the Filipino side. I'll be damned.
What a great story. Please continue.
See, told you. What'd I tell you? What'd I tell you? That's what he said. So you want somebody big for Cody? I don't think it's Gunther.
It's gotta be.
Don't make it Gunther yet, because Gunther should not be losing.
But who else would
immediately?
It be?
Well,
I get that. Gunther is not going to win over Cody for sure.
Or maybe you don't do anything yet. Maybe you hold off Cody into a feud until after King and Queen of the Wing, which is going to be in Saudi in May. So you have Cody there on every Raw, every SmackDown, coming out, cutting promos, showing his face, kissing babies, doing that whole thing. And he's not in a feud yet. You do the King and Queen of the Ring, you do the draft, then we set the table. That may be the way to do it.
But do you think that would be appropriate, and you think that the fans would be okay with that, knowing that maybe not everybody is behind Damian Priest as a champion? So now
nobody's
have Cody
behind Damian Priest.
Oh boy!
Yikes! I kind of am, but
detour.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so now you don't have a true heavyweight male champion. I don't know if he can. Granted, though,
are you saying
Saudi
Damian
is next
not
month.
A male?
No, I'm talking about that somebody can get behind.
Are you one of those bisexual Undertaker people on Twitter?
I don't even know what that meant when they were doing that. When that was a Twitter
trending
handle,
number one at one point.
I don't even understand what that meant.
People call Damian a bisexual Undertaker.
Oh, that is, well, I mean, is he bisexual? Is he bisexual?
Is he Undertaker, Rhodesia? No, he's not Undertaker.
But we call him. What's talking about? We call him ROH Roman. So what's the difference?
I never heard that. That's great.
He's ROH Roman. We've been calling him that for years.
Well, seeing you took us there, let's talk about that. Another one of incredible storytelling. Seth and Drew thought it was a awesome way of starting the show.
It was great.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that they didn't lean more into the knee for Seth from last night. So when he came out and did his huge entrance and he wasn't limping, I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. So we get the match I thought was great. He beats him. Seth's crying, talking about something, you fucking deserve it. He's out there taking in his moment. And the longer he was out there, I was like, uh-oh. Mm-hmm. Like, all right, dude, go to the back. I get taking your moment in. It's the first time with live fans you won the championship. But all right. And then he looks over at Punk. And I was like, okay, why are they about to cut a angle right now and Punk's not 100% ready? Maybe he's clear, maybe he's not. Punk took that damn brace off, beat his ass. And then when that music hit, I was like, I can't believe they just did that. Mm-hmm. And they did it.
But see, don't you think they show their hand with that whole thing happening with Punk? Because Punk this whole weekend has been everywhere without his brace on. everywhere. And all of a sudden tonight he had his brace on. That was the very first thing that I saw. I'm like, it's okay. So they're playing that he's still hurt allegedly, but he haven't had his brace on all night. Okay, I know what this is going.
What y'all think? What y'all think? Damian Priest, the new champ.
Yeah, I mean, he just don't do it for me. I don't know, man. Who fused with him is, I mean, yeah, I am speechless. I'm not a big DP guy.
Excuse me. Beautiful timing. Bravo to you, my good man. Bravo to you. If anybody's watching this for the first time, my apologies. We do a little bit of sexual innuendo, but this is way over the top. I mean, in a minute, I'm just about to be like, look, if y'all don't want to talk about WrestleMania,
start pulling some stuff out,
and y'all want to get to something else, we can do that. Jesus Christ, DPs and pauses for no reason. So Damian doesn't do it for you. He said for like months he didn't think that he was ready for this spot. When you saw him finally cash in, were you like, okay, I changed my mind, or you still feel like he's not ready for the spot that he's about to be put into?
No, I thought, damn, Drew hasn't signed yet.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
Like Drew, he ain't signed yet, and I'm like, dang, man, I really like his current role and what he's doing and the mixed people he's in. So if he hasn't signed yet, he must be on his way to AEW, right? Because I know Tony released a couple people. We haven't talked about that but so much Mania talk. But he said he's getting ready to be active in the free agent market. So whatever that means, and you see he's giving 4 and 5 million contracts to any and everybody who want to sign with him. So you know, that's what I thought immediately when I saw it. But I mean, there's some story to be told with Damian as champion. I mean, you know, I don't think they were ready to put the water, you say, on the fire of Judgment Day. I think they want to keep them strong, keep them on Raw, and what better way to actually have the world champion in their group.
Both.
So we'll see where that goes.
World champ and men's world champ now.
That made me, yep. And it kind of just had me thinking like how fitting and apropos was for them to say this is the Paul Levesque era, just regardless of the name and the title of the era, but this is a new era. After tonight, like I said, I'm not as hype as I wanted to because there's just so many things to process. So Seth dyeing his hair, I saw it over the couple weeks, is bringing his hair blonder and blonder and blonder till he got it to the color that he wanted. He comes out as a Shield. What is he next after this? If Drew resigns or if he doesn't resign, if he does resign, I don't mind seeing him and Punk go at each other without a belt. I'm fine with that because I think that'd be some good storytelling there. It's just like the whole landscape has changed tonight. All of the heavyweight championships switched hands tonight. It's a brand new hit a reset. Let's start this on the next chapter.
I can't believe you guys think he hasn't resigned. Drew is 100% resigned. This is part of the story. And we go back to what I said in the main event. That story they told, right? With the Cena and Solo, with, you know, Taker being there and Jimmy and Jay and all that. This is that same story. Drew has been saying for weeks to Seth, dude, you worrying about the wrong things. You up in here worried about bloodline business. You trying to help your friend Cody out. You worry about The Rock. You need to be worried about me. I'm who you need to be worried about. He did the exact same thing. He was so worried about CM Punk. Dude, you got your title. Leave. You know that briefcase is still laying around somewhere for Priest, but you couldn't let that go. You are so obsessed with CM Punk, and that cost you your championship. We're getting that massive match. I don't think they can wait until SummerSlam. If they can, great. Punk was alluding to this past week that, you know, part of me feels like I could be ready for Mania. You know, like I know they're trying to protect me from myself, but he was saying he felt like he could be ready. And like, if I would have just not said anything, maybe they could have kept the story the way it was supposed to be. Who knows exactly where he's at, but evidently we saw he was good enough to get pretty physical, kind of physical. Don't know about how he can bump. So I don't know if you can wait until SummerSlam. I don't know if you do that match at Clash of the Castle in Drew's hometown. I don't know if you do that at Backlash in France, but I think he's signed for sure. And this is just part of that story arc. You got your moment in front of fans. Take it in while you're out there. You deserve it. You've never gotten it. but we're pivoting to Damian Priest and then see where that goes.
And I hope so, because on all the reports or on the dirty sheets, they're still saying that he hasn't resigned, right? So I don't know what that adds to it. I just want him to be signed. I want to continue to see Drew and what he's doing. I think his character's great. I don't know if him being unsigned really adds to that, right? I think that's some of the stuff we need to get away from. That's what I was alluding to, because they keep on announcing everyone else is signed in, but he hasn't signed. And they're not really talking about that on the air. So it just kind of leads me to be like, man, maybe he's not good. I hope he is.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he is. But I know we kind
of. Also, too, real quick, everybody watching on X, typically we're on YouTube and X. We can't get the YouTube working right now. So if you want to leave any comments, leave them on X. I will read them during our show. So I see we got 211 right now, it looks like. So if you guys got any comments, if you want to tell us your thoughts about the show, you give us your grades, whatever you got, I'll be looking through the comments throughout the show, and then we'll make sure that we interact with you guys. But go ahead, E.
I was about to say, we kind of got off this really quickly, but in this new Paul Levesque era, and it was great to see my two babies back. I got to see Stephanie at the beginning of the show. I got my girl Brandy coming in towards the end. Great stuff. But the great thing about, I know that with Roman, he's going off to vacation, doing whatever he does, is that this opens up a lot of storyline possibilities, because now we have so many storylines that we can be doing on SmackDown with the world champion. We got storylines that we can have on Raw with the champion, which we wouldn't have had if Roman retained. We wouldn't get another world championship storyline until what's the next pay-per-view? Maybe the next Saudi show, the Royal Rumble, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. Now we got some storylines that we can kind of sink ourselves into for quite some time. I think it's going to be very, very refreshing for this company, and it ain't slowing down. With Damian Priest, I mean, we might see some type of three-way with Drew and Punk and all of them trying to challenge. Seth needs to get his rematch back, right? There's a lot of angles that can kind of go with Raw. But again, I was kind of surprised. Maybe I shouldn't have been that he cashed in at Mania tonight.
So you bring up Seth. Now, do you think the three of y'all...
when they lost yesterday, they lost the tag titles. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, that cash-in is probably coming. I did think that.
With Seth showing up as a Shield Seth, do y'all think we're going to still see this Shield Seth?
Oh, no. That was strictly just for that moment of mind games. Once again, wrapping up this entire story of it, because now this bloodline story as we know it is done. So if we want to talk about what he just talked about, let's go back to that and hit that. What's next for Roman? Was what we saw tonight enough for, there was rumors out there of Rock was going to screw Roman at Mania. And I said last night, get off that. Get off that. That's not happening anymore. He's not in cahoots with Cody. There was not enough that went down for him to turn on Roman on night 2. That didn't happen. But was there enough that happened tonight for Rock to make his own bloodline, so bloodline 2.0, and go in that direction? Or do we still need something significant to happen to where Rock and Roman split up?
I think you need something significant. I mean, the only way it's not significant and he goes like that is he just assert himself as, I'm sick of this. You've let the family down. Like, he would just have to come out and blast Roman for failing tonight. But
and so to respond to that, I feel like those people, and I know tonight was about Cody, giving Cody his grand stage, but you look at the people you had, Jimmy. Okay, well, actually, no, Jimmy, he got taken through a table, so never mind, forget Jimmy. You look at Solo, you look at The Rock. They really didn't get beat up to the point where they should have been completely out of the match. So I know I have to suspend some of my disbelief. But, like, Rock took a chokeslam from Undertaker. Undertaker's my favorite wrestler of all time. He didn't even get up there. He didn't even get up there all the way. Like, he got, like, only, like, 12 inches off the ground. So you're telling me that Rocky, I guess maybe because you fought last night, but he even said last night at the press conference he felt good, I believe. Point is, I felt like they didn't get beat up. They being the people who came in to run interference, didn't get it beat up enough to like be completely out of the whole thing. So for Rock to say something like, Roman, you couldn't get it done. Rock, you got chokeslammed by Undertaker. And that took you out. Come on. At least I got 3 crossroads.
You know what could be interesting though? If the bloodline, they kind of all go and do their own thing, and Roman comes back and he's trying to get the band back together, and they like, no, we had to eat while you was gone. Like, we doing this now. And, and then Rock comes back and like, well, I've been making sure they've been good while you've been off vacationing or whatever.
I can see that.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with the Roman Reigns and the Rock and all those things, with them being part-time or seasonal, whatever it is. We don't know when we're going to get a continuation to those storylines. Like, right, we know Rock got a movie coming up pretty soon. He might be off doing his thing. Roman, I don't know how many appearances he has per year, but we might not see those guys for some time anyway to continue this. And that's the only problem with their storylines. It's like it gets put on hold until they come back, whenever that is. So we might not see the bloodline on SmackDown for some time. And I don't know if you bring it back on Friday just for them to argue with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so when you talk about bloodline, we know we're going to see Jimmy, we know we're going to see Jay, we're going to see Solo. So there's got to be and Paul Heyman. So there's got to be some sort of continuation, even if Rock or Roman isn't on screen. There's got to be some form of where.
Well, Jay, remember he's on a different brand. So Heyman, Jimmy, and Solo, but they also can go away for a minute.
And we have a draft coming up too.
Else.
Yeah. And don't forget about the draft too in a few weeks that he said.
So are you going to keep? Are you keeping Cody then on SmackDown? Let's say we're at the draft already. We're 1 weekend after the draft. Are we keeping Cody on SmackDown? Are we bringing him back to Raw?
You got to see where the chips fall for everybody else. He said he's working. He wants to be on Raw and SmackDown. And I know he's advertised for either every Raw or every SmackDown in the next month. So he'll be doing double duty, even if we don't see him. Even if he's just doing
house shows
the dark match segment where he comes out and either he works or he just cuts a promo. But I think he'll be on both. One thing we got to get to: the blackest WrestleMania in history. Shout that out. And I say shout that out not just from a race perspective, but yes, from a race perspective. But we talk about culture. And when I have dreams and nightmares blasting out of my home theater speakers to start this show, and it is not out of happenstance, or it fits perfectly to what the vibe is of the show. And then they cut to the people in the crowd, and when T-Pain gets a huge pop, you crossed over. So I want to, of course, we got to highlight that because they've done an incredible job with Turn the Page. We would mark out and get excited when we had one black artist perform America the Beautiful, and that may have been it.
Yeah,
we are now getting Lil Wayne, like I said, and Travis Scott, and all of these people that mean something to the culture of hip hop, and more importantly, maybe black culture of the times that we are in. And I think that speaks a lot to also why they're as popular as they are right now. So I wanted to give that up because I'm just watching. I'm like, damn, this ain't a thing 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whenever. And I think that also lends itself to the new era that Triple H said that we're getting into.
Bianca mentioned that on her press conference last night. Like, it's great to be the first of stuff. I mean, we hear this all the time. It's great to be the first. It's great to be the first. But now it's time for it to be the normal. It should be normal. It should feel right that we have a lot of hip hop into our show. Because that's one of the leading, genre of music that we listen to today. So for me, I was so impressed and so happy that we got to see that. Like it felt like, wow, like he kind of has a pulse on, or at least whoever is part of this whole production has a pulse on what's going on really in the world. So bravo to them.
Rhodesia, you got the shirt on. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
let's talk about it. What'd you guys think about Bailey and Io? Of course, Rhodesia, you can start there.
Outside of our main event, this was my match of the night. I thought that maybe some other matches could have matched the night. I think even the opening Seth and Drew was a very close second. But let me tell you, Bailey and Io, like, and I know, Matt, you had made a comment about you think Io might be one of your favorite women wrestlers. I was feeling that too for a hot second. Her entrance was definitely the best that whole stage had to offer this whole weekend. The best. But my God, Bailey came out there and I was just so happy because she has worked so hard. Not saying no one else hasn't, but she has worked so hard, so hard over the last couple of years. Put on an incredible match. I'm there for all of it. And what happens? She wins. Now she changed her whole look up and now she's an Aztec and people were saying, is she Egyptian or Aztec? Hey, I think she's Aztec. I don't know. But point is, Bailey won. So I had to represent for her today.
See, she looked good too. She looked really good. I thought it was a great match. She was good.
Yep.
All right, got it. He was like, she looked good too. I thought it was a good match. It was good. I think maybe you was stuck on that ass tag instead of her being an ass tag.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Did
it live up to expectations?
Yeah, it was a good match. I mean, I didn't, look, as I said, most of this match.
You didn't care either, did you?
You
was like, did you even watch anything before the main event? Or were you just so dialed in that you were like, look, I don't care what else happens. I need to keep all my energy for Cody Rhodes finishing the story. You can tell us. It's all good.
This was all about the main event for me. Everything else just was like, see, I was waiting for my main course. And this was a feast, God damn it. Like my mouth has been watering for 2 years for this dish tonight. And so they gave me salad. Good. Okay. I'm ready for the main course. They gave me some biscuits. Just some good cheddar biscuits. That's nice. They gave me a little extra water. Cool. I like that too. I want that vegan steak.
A vegan steak? Are you saying
I want them sweet potatoes?
It's a vegan steak.
Hey, I actually haven't seen a vegan steak before. And
me either, but that's what I was waiting.
Okay,
it's a new era.
Me either. It's a new era, baby. And I was waiting for it. My mouth. I haven't had a steak in probably over a decade. But I was ready for that vegan steak tonight, and I got it. And it tastes so good. So everything leading up to it was fine to me.
It was a really good match. Really, really good match. And I'm watching, and I did say that Io has the hardest entrance music to me in WWE right now.
It sounds really good live.
Yep. If not all of wrestling. And when they gave her that WrestleMania style video on those big screens, it was a wrap. Good. I was like, oh, this is incredible. And then I'm watching her and I'm like, I think Io's my favorite wrestler. At the point I'm saying that, I knew she was losing to Bailey. So I felt kind of sad in my heart a little bit. Because I do think her reign was not as good as it could have been. It was a lot of damage control focus and not Io focus. So, but Bailey absolutely deserves it. Congrats to Bailey. She's been busting her ass, putting everybody else over for the last 2-3 years, and it's her time now. So very, very happy for her. I thought the match was really good. Actually, I thought everything was really good. I kind of said earlier, I think this show, and I hate to do this off the instant reaction. I'm not going to go into best show ever. I'm not going to do best Mania ever, but I do think this may have been the most cohesive and fan-friendly finish to matches shows in WWE history.
There was a lot of that on Twitter.
Was it?
Yeah, there was a lot of that on Twitter.
Yep.
A lot of people were in favor of that for sure.
And I think too, because like night one, I thought night one was be the better in-ring show. It was not. Because there was a couple matches right in the middle. I was like, I take it or leave it. There was nothing on this show you would say take it or leave it. You would say, okay, if you don't have time, watch the opener, watch the main event, and maybe you'll give them one more else. But if you got some time, watch everything. You're not going to be disappointed. So I thought that was fantastic. And I thought the other part of it too, which was really, really, really interesting to me, was they laid out night two to be the best night.
Yeah, that
Typically,
was
night one is the
interesting.
best night.
Mhm.
Yep. So, like, looking at the card, you couldn't say that. But when you look at the finishes, you're like, oh, no, okay, we're saving everything for night 2. And it's all done by design. Because now you can literally say the new era has started now. We're kicking it off on Monday Night Raw. And then we kind of go from there. I did expect, going back to main event, I was surprised that it wasn't more bloodline interference throughout the match. I'm happy that we didn't get that. I think.
Well, yeah, the beginning. I know I'm happy. They had a good, like I said, 10 minutes of them going one
Way
on
more
one.
than 10
I was
minutes.
happy. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I thought it
done.
was a little
regular,
longer, too.
yeah. They
But
worked
I
a
like
regular
that.
WWE style main event, 20 plus minutes when we got Jimmy J, we knew, okay, this is the next part of it. It's on now. I thought we was going to see more of Rock than we
That's
did.
what I say. He got chokeslammed by Undertaker, and then he was gone.
I did think we would see a little bit more of him.
But Undertaker does have supernatural powers. He's had that for like 30
man.
years. So
He's a dead man.
his choke slam is a little different. Yeah.
I do think, too, though, they did it perfectly. Like, Cena came out, hit Roman with the AA, which was great. But that wasn't the finish. Remember, I said, like, the finish has to be just
from Cody.
Has to be just Cody. And they did it. So
I was shocked. I was shocked that Cena went after Roman. I thought he would have just went after Solo. That caught me off guard.
Well, because Cena also whipped his ass at SummerSlam a couple years ago in Vegas. And was talking cash money. And Roman was having a good time out there tonight, too.
He sure
was.
He was
back to, he was talking that cash money to Cody. And it was cool,
the
too.
crowd.
It was cool, real quick. It was cool. I don't know if you guys caught it. He had a little smirk on his face when Cody pinned him.
Yeah.
He had a little smirk on his face. And I would love for somebody
and
to
I was
ask
mad
him
and I was mad about it.
about that.
Like,
Yeah, because everybody was mad for Cody except for certain people on the podcast. But what I loved about it, and you think about that crowd, like they stayed the entire time for the aftermatch, right? Well, I don't know the entire crowd, but it was like at least about a good 90% of them was right there for the celebration, right? And I didn't say at the time, I was trying to lay out so you guys can go ahead and say what you wanted to say, but it was definitely our night. But that was kind of like a dusty type of finish. Back in the day, NWA, I think Dusty, when he won a championship, a lot of the baby faces would run out. A lot of the friends come and run out and kind of cheer on the heel and carry him around a little bit. So that was kind of like a montage to back in the day, how when like the conquering baby face who finally got over on the heels, all the baby faces would kind of come out and in celebration for him. So it was great. Everything was there, and I was glad that the crowd was there. They stayed right there with him. We got to see the family out there. I mean, it was just a perfect show.
It was what it should have been. It was what it should have been.
And I'm actually more than happy I don't have to exclusively cover AEW. That I can continue to watch this new, because that's what we get with this Levesque era, man. He's giving us fans. And he's taking care of everybody. He's taking care of the hardcore fans. He got a little something for the casuals. He got something for the semi-casuals. And that's hard to do, to be able to take care of everybody or most people.
It's
man,
the machine.
I mean, he's just doing a
freaking machine. The freaking machine.
At that finish, the first thing I thought was this was good for business.
Oh yeah.
This is really good for business.
Unfortunately, it was best for business.
But you wouldn't have gotten this last year.
You would not.
And that's what I was. And I know E wasn't trying to hear it. I know a lot of Cody fans wasn't trying to hear it.
I still ain't trying to hear it.
This is what I was trying to tell them. You don't get this same feeling from your fan base at 39 in Los Angeles. You don't get that. You don't get what E just said in terms of that crowd was there all night for this moment. You don't get that last year. You get it now. And by the crowd reaction, by how they were able to do that match, and by what we're going to see, probably starting tomorrow night on Raw, it's going to show that worked. It was the right thing. There was no negative to do what they did. Business is up, all that kind of stuff is through the roof. It worked out. It really worked out. So
that is really genius to be able to galvanize your fans for an entire year.
Yep.
To rally for a single person. That's impressive.
And then they almost fucked it up by giving us Roman and Rock instead of the match that they galvanized us for an entire year.
But don't get it tangled and twisted.
Yeah.
If Roman and Rock wrestled Mania 40, it still would have been a great story. It absolutely would have been a great story. Now, I will admit that I never would have thought that with a pivot, we would have something as great as this. But that's just divinity. That divine actions just happened at that moment. But Rock and Roman, if that actually happened at 40, none of us would be like, oh, that's so good. It was okay.
You know what? Let me just say that I'm a Rock and Roman guy too, and I feel that. But what made this night special for a lot of people, because we always talk about, well, in my opinion, what freaking wrestling is, it's always been about character and story investment. Characters in a story, getting invested in those characters and seeing it through, hopefully to a positive thing. So Rock and Roman, we did not have the story there that we have for almost 2+ years with Roman and Cody. That's what made this moment so special. When you're talking about, I understand
10 years of Rock and Roman, though, Ishan. We would have built to that. That's the whole thing about it. I mean, I'm not going to argue about that. I'm not arguing about that tonight. But the point is, we would have still had a great story.
What I will say, we damn sure wouldn't have got a heel Rock. So whatever they had planned for Rock and Roman wouldn't have been as good as what we got. Because Roman would have been the heel, Rock would have been the face, and I do think it would have been a lot of playing the hits. Right? We would have got the Rudy Poo,
we got that in the first week of Rock. We got that the first week of Rock.
Now I don't want to ever see that again. I don't ever want to see that again.
And that's what I'm saying. I keep getting put. That's what we would have gotten. We wouldn't have gotten this version of The Rock. This is the version of The Rock I think that's needed for 2024. It'd be interesting to see what he does going forward with this, right? Because the crowd, I mean, they a lot of the crowd wanted Boom, but a lot of the crowd still wanted to cheer him, right? We wouldn't have gotten this version of the final boss versus the Roman, and we certainly didn't have the story behind it. So yes, it would have been a nice match, and it would have been almost a nostalgia type of thing for a great match. But like the story, and then the additional story moments we got with this version of The Rock got added into the mix. I mean, you can't really ask for more.
No, you can't. But I will still say, I personally think there was more story for Rock and Roman because of the bloodline piece. And I think they could have really leaned into head of the table. Where Cody's story was 2 years, Rock and Roman was 4 years, and if you go back to Rumble in Philly, even longer. But
that's the same thing I just said.
We wouldn't have got this Rock.
No, I agree with that. We would not have got the final boss.
And for Cody, I still love my idea about New York City Survivor Series, but this was the moment.
Survivor
Series,
yeah.
This is the moment. This was
the last thing I'll say, because I know you guys I don't feel like arguing with y'all tonight, because I don't really ain't about
don't worry,
that.
I don't feel like arguing with you tonight either.
But I'm just saying, if Roman and Rock, we could have got exactly what you wanted if they were available more on shows, right? If we getting them on every 2 to 3 episodes to try to tell that condensed story, it'd have been much, much harder. So we had got them on a more full-time basis to tell the story, we would have been there.
But these last 2 months, Rock was on probably. He only took a couple weeks off.
He had 10 shows total.
He only took a couple weeks off. So Rock had been there the whole time though. But
Rock would have to carry the whole thing.
Right. What I'm saying is, again, we can't compare what could have happened because we got what we had already. And I'm not complaining on what we have. So let's be very clear on that. What I'm trying to say is that if we had Rock Roman 40, no one would be like, oh, that was it. Everybody would be just as high, but we just wouldn't have had the same story that we had today. Rock was there. Rock was fully invested. Roman, maybe he would have did his 10 shows.
The Cody fans would have complained, which is why we got the Cody crybabies and
for sure. But I'm talking about as far as the Rock and Roman match.
Still would have been a fantastic
those Cody fans, if they were like not wrestling fans and they were just Cody fans, and they would be like, well, I don't care what they do. If they put on the epic of epic battles, I wouldn't care. If that's what you're saying, there's Cody fans that's out there like me who still like Roman and Rock more. And I'm telling you, like.
We can't do it. I mean, it's almost time for us to wrap up. We can't do it, but I'm going to ask anyway. Take away Cody winning. Which night was better?
This all about?
Night 1 or night 2?
Night 2 was good. Night 2 was better than me.
So we heard Dreams and Nightmares to start night 2. So that just put me on a whole nother level to begin with. I don't know.
We got Snoop. Snoop-a-loop.
Twice. You got him on the broadcast as commentator and announcing.
He fucked that number up too.
Fonz on Twitter said, "Hell no, Rody. Rock and Roman would have not have made me watch 8 hours of wrestling over 2 nights. No way." So there you go. And that's somebody who used to be a diehard and is a very, very, very casual wrestling fan by now. What you got night 2 or night 1 outside of Cody winning?
That's a tough one because I think that night 1 and night 2 was about Cody winning. So taking him out of it is kind of. I mean,
but even if Cody would have won in the match and say the rest of the show sucked, you still would be like, that was the right call. It was a great show. That's why I said take Cody out.
Well, for me, also it's about like it's like a story for me, right? It's and it's how it starts and how it finishes. So like in night 1, it finished the way it finished, so we can get the finish we got on night 2. So night 1, you had the heels, right, and they were being booed by the end of the night. Like very two popular heels being booed at the end of the night
by design,
right? And so that's kind of a bad finish in a lot of ways. When it's hard to take that main event out if you want to go off match quality.
I mean, match quality, correct? Yeah,
man. So
that's kind of tough for me.
How about this?
It's all good.
Let's repurpose that question. Let's say if we were all there live in the cold, and we had one WrestleMania night, and all those matches was on. What would be the common denominator of matches that you would wanted to see that you would be willing to stay in the cold for? And then on the other side of that, what night was that? I think that probably would be the better question.
Well, he's going to say night 2 because he saw Cody win the championship.
But then you say minus Cody winning. So minus the main events, both main events, night 1 or night 2.
Night 2 was a better night of wrestling overall. I thought night 2, like if I had to go back and kind of really digest it, night 2 is going to go down as one of the best manias of all time, I think.
I think the only thing I would have missed from night 1, because I would have chose night 2, was seeing Rhea.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, we had some good storyline things. Go ahead. What did Fon say?
Night 2 by a country mile. Seth, Drew, Bailey. He said in that Asian girl. All y'all racist tonight. Still the best
I'm not
and
racist.
Third matches. So he's saying night 2 by a mile. I know I was texting with Bush earlier. He said night 2. You'd be hard pressed for anybody to say, unless you are just the biggest Rock fan, or to what Brandon just said, maybe the biggest Rhea fan. It's got to be night 2.
Man, it got to be night 2. And like I said, like this, it's hard to look at this because like night 1, night 2 is set up to be a great moment that we got at night 2. That's kind of kickstarting a brand new era. I love how Stephanie McMahon came out there and she was like, for her man, she was like, look, this is the first WrestleMania under Paul Levesque. Right?
He got some action tonight.
We got brand new champions. We got brand new eras.
That shit on him tonight.
We got brand new storylines coming out, which is just fantastic. And I don't think this night would have been available. It would came out any other way. I don't think there's any other match that could have taken us where we are right now to when we start next week. We have fresh, new, exciting things that we can look forward to.
I'm going to say if I had to, it would be night 2. But I do wonder, though, how much of that is like psychological. I've always said that night 1, night 2, anytime you have something, to me, it's hard pressed with anything. Let's take wrestling out of it. It's night 1, night 2. If you talk about back in the olden days when we used to watch series on TV, remember how it would come on Sunday and then on Monday night, it would be like a 4-hour series. It was still always what was at the very end of that final, when it went down to 0 and the show was over. To me, I think it's by design. I think it has to be night 2, and because it delivered, yeah, I'm gonna have to say night 2. But that's not any disrespect on one.
Wole being disrespectful. He's funny. He's trying to be funny. No, he could have been a Cody crybaby, but I rock and roll too much to call him that. He said, "Don't worry, fam. Rock and Roman will be better next year, just like Cody and Roman." Laugh out loud.
I like that. Irony right there. He got me back with that.
This don't work like that, man. Rock is 62 years old, Roman. Cody Rhodes is not. Okay? Jesus H. Christ. So let's wrap it with just overall thoughts from the weekend. And of course, E, I'll throw it to you first because your guy just went out on top. Just overall thoughts from WrestleMania 40.
Great weekend. Great weekend start the week. I'm excited to be a WWE fan. I'm excited to see
gotta work with
the next run. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a great week. We winning out here. We winning out here. A great win for the Black community. Thank you, Cody. Black excellence displayed at a high level. We in there.
as a newly re-engaged, I don't even know if that's the right term, but as a re-engaged fan, it was a really good weekend. This is my second Mania. I've probably been watching now for about 18 months, 14, something like that, a little over a year. And this was fun. The Philadelphia street fight was a lot of fun. It was very nostalgic. I was explaining to Cam like who the Dudley Boys was and the Get the Tables chant, and sure enough, they said it. So he was like, "Oh, you just told me that." So that was cool. It was a lot of fun. I think ultimately the outcome of tonight was the best for business. It does a really good job of ushering in a new era that we're in, and it's cool to enjoy professional wrestling again. So
I'm about to lose my shit right now. I told y'all, and I was ridiculed. Like, how can you have a Mania that hadn't happened yet on your Mount Rushmores? I was
this is a
ridiculed
really
by
good callback.
everybody. Now,
It
one
was a
person
match.
represented
It was a
me.
match.
Now, okay, with the
It wasn't
match
the whole
too.
show. It
Then
was
the
a
match too.
match.
Let's go with the match too. You cannot sit up here and tell me that, oh, match hadn't happened yet, so you can't be on your Mount Rushmore. It's on my Mount Rushmore. I can put whatever I want on my Mount Rushmore. So I thought this WrestleMania, this is where I would say pause, but you said I can't say pause in that instance. But I would say that this WrestleMania, I had so much FOMO going into it. For years, we've been blessed to go to countless WrestleManias, being there for all the events. I absolutely have FOMO outside of the cold weather because I don't do well in cold. But not being able to see the whole pomp and circumstances and feeling that energy live of that main event, that hurts me just a little bit inside. But I was able to hold my tears and cry in the privacy of my own home when Roman lost. But even in spite of that, bravo, WrestleMania 40.
My overall thoughts is it started with the Monday Night Raw from Chicago here when we got the epic blood with Rock and Cody. To me, that kind of started what we got a chance to see at the end of night 2. I remember that feeling watching that show, and I'm just like, this is, to me, what wrestling is about. Action, the feeling of it, the shock and awe, et cetera, et cetera. We go night 1, we get to see Rock wrestle in a 45-minute match where you would not have thought those 3 out of those 4 guys had to work again 24 hours later. Then we get 24 hours later, and they put together, like I said, in my opinion, the most cohesive card in WrestleMania history, where everything made sense, everything had a purpose, everything had a point to it. And you end with handing the keys over to the guy who has been driving the bus every single week for the last 365 days. You can't write it any better than that. And I got to see my GOAT, Paul Heyman, get inducted in the Hall of Fame on Friday night.
Hell yeah.
And if he does not inspire you when he talks, then I don't know if I can't say you ain't got a soul, but you ain't feeling it. Get deep down with yourself, and you'll understand what my guy, the wise man, is saying.
Did you learn it? Did you learn it yet?
Oh yeah, you want to take us out with the actual words, E?
No, he don't know it.
And while he's humming us out, go ahead, E, continue to hum. I'm gonna send it home. Thank y'all for watching and listening. This is been live tonight, post show of WrestleMania. Y'all know how we get down. Twitter, that's FNW. If you are watching us, that's where you're watching us now. We love you. We appreciate you. Listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, 5 stars, comments, do all that kind of stuff. Rate us. And then on YouTube, we are there at That's Freakin' Wrestling. We'll be back, of course, in a few days. Breakdown Raw. Talk about some AEW. And the fallout from WrestleMania. Keep on singing, E. Keep on singing.
Some haters lost tonight. Bye-bye.